Statues guarding the Giza plateau have been silently watching over us for nearly 5,000 years, and they're not alone. Over 3 million hieroglyphs riddle the walls of Egyptian tombs, each stroke a secret whispered across millennia. And then there are the pyramids themselves, eternal enigmas pointing towards the heavens, defying even modern engineering marvels. One of the world's greatest civilizations rose from the sands of the Nile over 5,000 years ago, crafting wonders that still defy explanation today. Ancient Egypt wasn't just about pyramids and pharaohs. It was a civilization of secrets, sacred rituals, and a deep obsession with the afterlife. Today we embark on an extraordinary journey back in time, unearthing the hidden truths, myths and mysteries that continue to captivate us about ancient Egypt. Join us as we unravel the enigma of these colossal sentinels. We delve into the depths of their cryptic tombs and decipher the secrets embedded in the very fabric of this lost world. Are you ready to uncover the enigma of ancient Egypt? And let's dive in. The majestic River Nile, the cradle of ancient Egyptian civilization, held within its fertile banks the key to the kingdom's prosperity. Every year, the Nile would overflow, leaving behind nutrient-rich silt that transformed the land into a bountiful landscape. The annual flooding of the Nile was not just a source of fertility, but also a life-giving force that sustained the kingdom and influenced the very core of Egyptian beliefs. For the Egyptians, the Nile was personified as a deity, and its predictable inundations were seen as divine gifts. They believed that the Nile's bounty was a direct result of the pharaoh's closeness to the gods. When the river flowed generously, it was a sign of the pharaoh's divine favor and the kingdom's prosperity. Conversely, if the floods were insufficient or excessive, it was seen as a divine reprimand, a message from the gods that something was amiss. This intimate connection between the Nile and the pharaoh led to a complex system of rituals and ceremonies. Each year, the pharaohs celebrated the rising of the Nile with festivities and offerings to the gods, ensuring the continuation of the river's life-giving flow. They built massive dams and irrigation systems to control the water, channeling it to sustain crops and sustain the kingdom's growth. In essence, the ancient Egyptians lived in harmony with the rhythms of the Nile, recognizing both its life-giving powers and its capricious nature. The river was not just a geographical feature, but a living, breathing entity that shaped their beliefs, their society, and their destiny. Now let's rewind the clock to around 3100 BC in the northeastern corner of Africa, a land where the River Nile met the Mediterranean, a place we now call Egypt. At this time, Egypt wasn't a united kingdom. Instead, it was divided into several small regions along the Nile. Then came Narmer, a ruler from the south who set out on a journey to unite these fragmented lands. He marched north with his army, battling rival chieftains and forging alliances until he reached the northernmost point of the known world at that time. With the union complete, he was hailed as the first pharaoh, signifying the birth of a new era in Egyptian history. This moment marked the beginning of the early dynastic period, a time when the foundations of Egyptian civilization were laid. The newly unified kingdom looked to its pharaohs as divine rulers, setting the stage for centuries of pharaonic rule. As the dynasties passed down the crown, each pharaoh was considered a successor to Narmer, forming a lineage of god-kings that would shape the course of Egyptian history. In the Old Kingdom, which lasted from roughly 2686 to 2181 BC, Egypt reached new heights of prosperity. During this period, the Giza plateau came alive with monumental construction projects. Among them, the Great Pyramid of Giza, testament to human ingenuity and the unfathomable resources commanded by the pharaohs. This awe-inspiring structure, originally named the Monument of Khufu, served as the eternal resting place for Pharaoh Khufu. The pyramid's sheer size, standing as the tallest man-made structure for over 3,800 years, was a reflection of the pharaoh's divine status. But it was much more than a tomb. It was built with precision and care. The pyramid's internal chambers and passageways hinted at a cosmic connection, aligning with celestial bodies in a celestial ballet of astronomical significance. For the Egyptians, death was not an ending, but a transition. And the pyramids, with their intricate designs, were cosmic stairways for the soul's journey. Khufu's pyramid, buried under the sands of time, continues to whisper tales of a civilization that dared to dream big and build even bigger. However, the Old Kingdom was not destined to last. Political instability and economic challenges led to the collapse of central authority, plunging Egypt into a period known as the First Intermediate Period. As the Old Kingdom waned, Egypt found itself on the brink of transformation during the Middle Kingdom. Spanning from 2055 to 1650 BC, the nation was reunited under Mentuhotep II, initiating a golden age of art, literature, and centralized power. During this period, Egypt's cultural influence flourished. Literature thrived with works like the Cairo Story, tales of everyday life that offered a glimpse into the hearts and minds of ancient Egyptians. The arts flourished with exquisite paintings and sculptures adorning tombs and temples, capturing the essence of a civilization at its zenith. However, the seeds of change were already being sown. Internal conflicts and external pressures gradually eroded the kingdom's stability, leading to the Second Intermediate Period. Yet amidst these turbulent times, Ged witnessed the emergence of formidable rulers like Kamose and Amos I, who successfully drove out the Hyksos, foreign rulers who had infiltrated Thebes. This victory marked a pivotal moment, clearing the path for Egypt to enter its most powerful era, the New Kingdom. From 1543 to 1292 BC, the New Kingdom was a golden age for Egypt, known for its military prowess, territorial expansion, and cultural achievements. During this era, Egypt's borders stretched from the Levant in the northeast to Nubia in the south. Powerful pharaohs like Thutmose III and Hatshepsut expanded the empire through trade and military campaigns, bringing immense wealth and prestige to the kingdom. Hatshepsut, one of history's most prominent female rulers, defied gender norms and ruled as a male pharaoh, leaving behind a legacy of architectural marvels like the mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari. Another iconic figure of this era was Ramses II, often regarded as the greatest pharaoh of all time. His reign from 1279 to 1213 BC was marked by monumental constructions such as the Ramesseum, its grand mortuary temple, and the Abu Simbel, twin temples carved into a mountainside. Ramses II's enduring image, the imposing seated colossus at Abu Simbel, is a testament to his lasting legacy. The late New Kingdom also saw the rise of Akhenaten, who introduced a revolutionary concept, the worship of Aten, the sun disk, as the supreme god. This marked the first known instance of monotheism in recorded history. Akhenaten's wife, Nefertiti, immortalized in the famous bust, now housed in Berlin, became an iconic symbol of beauty and grace. Their daughter, Ankhesenamun, attempted to wed the Hittite king to secure an alliance against the encroaching Sea Peoples. But the New Kingdom's troubles were compounded by the mysterious death of Tutankhamun, Akhenaten's successor, the young age of 19. The discovery of his nearly intact tomb by Howard Carter in 1922 captivated the world and provided invaluable insights into this enigmatic era. Despite its glories, the New Kingdom eventually succumbed to internal strife and external pressures, including attacks by the mysterious Sea Peoples. This decline marked the beginning of the Third Intermediate Period, a time of fragmentation and foreign rule. During the Third Intermediate Period, Egypt came under the control of foreign powers, starting with the Assyrians followed by the Persians. The Libyans briefly reasserted control under the 22nd dynasty, but Egypt's fate was ultimately intertwined with the rise of the New Kingdom. However, the era of foreign domination was destined to end with the arrival of Alexander the Great. Following the Persian conquest, Egypt became part of the Ptolemaic Kingdom, a Hellenistic dynasty founded by Ptolemy I, one of Alexander's generals. This period marked a significant cultural fusion as Greek and Egyptian influences intertwined. The most renowned ruler of this era was Cleopatra VII, famed for her intelligence, political acumen, and tragic romance with Roman general Julius Caesar. After Caesar's assassination, Cleopatra formed an alliance with Mark Antony, a Roman triumvir. However, their partnership led to a diplomatic crisis between Rome and Octavian, Caesar's adopted son, who sought to expand his power. Fearing repercussions, Cleopatra and Mark Antony took their own lives, ending the Ptolemaic dynasty and marking the end of ancient Egypt's independence. Egypt became a province of Rome, ushering in a new chapter in its long and storied history. But the story doesn't end here. The mysteries of ancient Egypt continue to captivate us. From the enigmatic pyramids to the undeciphered riddles of the past, there's still so much to uncover. What intrigues you the most about ancient Egypt? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more journeys through time. Thank you for joining us today. Till next time, keep exploring the past and stay curious. The story of ancient Egypt is usually told as one of pharaohs' pyramids and mummies, a rich tapestry of kings, queens, and monuments, some built to outlast the test of time. But what if there are chapters missing from this well-known tale? What if there's more to the land of the pharaohs than meets the eye? They say history is written by the victors, but in Egypt, it seems history was carved in stone and then buried beneath centuries of silence. Welcome to a world of towering pyramids and golden tombs. But look closer, and you'll find secrets Egypt doesn't want you to know. Join me as we uncover them one by one. First up, let's tackle a mystery that has both thrilled and infuriated researchers: the lost labyrinth of Hawara. You might wonder, why would a labyrinth be so perplexing? Well, imagine a vast underground maze beneath the desert sands, hiding passages over 30 meters deep. It's a subterranean city, boasting around 3,000 rooms filled with sarcophagi, each one uniquely designed. That's enough space to fit 40,000 mummies inside. How did this happen? Archaeologists uncovered these tunnels during excavations in the late 19th century, only to be stunned by the sheer scale of the place. The thing is, mainstream history has no answer for it. It wasn't mentioned in any records or depicted in artwork like other burial grounds. Even its entrance is a mystery, concealed beneath a rubbish dump until stumbled upon by accident. This underground marvel was carved between 2000 BC and 1600 BC, matching the reign of Amenhotep III. But nobody knows why such a grand labyrinth was needed, or where it got its colossal wealth to be built. How did this hidden wonder stay secret for so long? Well, it was abandoned around 1500 BC and left to the darkness as Egypt descended into turmoil. Over time, its location was forgotten, turning it into a tomb of untold stories. For centuries, treasure hunters seeking fortune had heard rumors of this underground labyrinth, leading to daring descents. They discovered broken statues depicting gods and sphinxes, along with strange symbols that seemed to guide the visitor's path. However, these cryptic carvings remain undeciphered, leaving many to speculate about their meaning. This subterranean labyrinth is so vast that it raises questions about what else might lie within its chambers. Perhaps there are blueprints, knowledge, and even a hidden history waiting to be uncovered. But why does Egypt keep it hidden? Is it protecting a relic of the past or keeping something buried forever? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now let's unravel the enigma of the Great Sphinx, standing guard over the Giza plateau for millennia. Its weathered visage tells a tale as old as time. But recent findings have revealed that the Sphinx's story is far from static. Its tangled history has led to theories that challenge conventional history. According to official accounts, the Sphinx was built by Pharaoh Khafre, succeeding the Great Pyramid and serving as his eternal resting place. However, geological clues tell a different story. Analysis of the erosion patterns on its surface indicates that the Sphinx has stood the test of time for over 7,000 years. That's thousands of years before the rise of dynastic Egypt. How can this be possible? The official narrative aligns the Sphinx's construction with Khafre's reign. It's placing it around 2500 BC, but evidence suggests it could have been crafted during the 12th dynasty. In fact, some experts theorize it was built as early as 4500 BC, making it far older than the pharaohs themselves. This discrepancy raises profound questions. Does it point to a lost pre-dynastic civilization, or is there evidence of a much more advanced past? Some believe that the Sphinx was meticulously planned to align with the stars, serving as an astronomical clock to track the cycles of the universe. This would require advanced knowledge and technology far beyond what's typically associated with early human societies. Others suggest that the Sphinx was part of a larger network of megalithic structures, connected to sites like Stonehenge and the Scottish pyramids, forming a prehistoric system of knowledge and communication. If this is true, it challenges the very foundation of our understanding of ancient Egypt and human history. Now let's turn our attention to the Great Pyramid of Giza, the oldest and largest of the three iconic structures. While the pyramid's exterior grandeur captivates visitors from around the globe, it's what lies beneath its colossal form that truly intrigues researchers. Despite countless studies and investigations, the pyramid's interior holds secrets close to its core. It's known to have three main chambers, including the King's Chamber, where the legendary pharaoh Khufu is believed to rest. But there are also several air shafts that lead into the depths of the earth. These shafts, once thought to be ventilation shafts, now seem to have a more profound purpose. Research suggests that they were intentionally sealed before the pyramid was completed. But why? Did they hold treasures or artifacts too valuable to be left behind? Or were they concealing something even more enigmatic? In 2017, scans using thermal imaging technology revealed two previously unknown voids within the pyramid. These voids, located near the king's chamber, have sparked intense curiosity and debate. Some believe they could contain undiscovered chambers or passages leading to secret chambers. What secrets might they hold? Are they perhaps containing ancient texts or objects that challenge our historical timeline? This untouched realm beneath the pyramid remains largely unexplored, offering a tantalizing glimpse into the past. But why hasn't it been opened? Is it to protect the sanctity of the site, or to safeguard potential discoveries from those who would exploit them? As researchers continue to probe the pyramid's mysteries, we can only wonder what other secrets lie dormant within its ancient walls. Maybe there are more stories waiting to be told. The legacy of the Black Pharaohs is a testament to their power and cultural richness. Kings like Pianki and Taharka ruled with wisdom and strength, uniting the kingdoms of Nubia and Egypt. Yet their stories have been overshadowed by the pharaohs of the north. This erasure was deliberate, aiming to minimize the Nubian influence and heritage. Their monuments were defaced or destroyed, and their accomplishments were belittled. Why? It was a way to control narratives and assert dominance. By downplaying the achievements of the Black Pharaohs, the northern elite sought to maintain their supremacy and marginalize Nubian contributions to Egyptian civilization. But what about the ancient Egyptians and electricity? The idea that ancient Egyptians harnessed electricity is often dismissed as a fringe theory, but the evidence is intriguing. One piece of evidence is the Dendera light, a carved depiction in Hathor's temple that shows a woman holding a device that bears a striking resemblance to a modern light bulb. The device has a bulbous base, a central shaft, and a coiled wire coming out of it, resembling the filament of a light bulb. This depiction challenges the conventional timeline of electrical discovery, pushing it back thousands of years. Mainstream archaeologists argue that the carving is nothing more than a stylized representation of a lotus bud or a flame. However, proponents of the electric Egypt theory point to the intricate details of the carving, including the depiction of electrical cords and energy coils. They argue that such precision in depicting a simple flame is highly unlikely. The existence of the Dendera light raises fundamental questions about what other technological advancements the ancient Egyptians may have possessed. Did they have a deeper understanding of the natural world? Did they harness the power of electricity for various purposes? The lack of concrete evidence and the reluctance of the archaeological community to explore this theory leave many questions unanswered. Were the ancient Egyptians more scientifically advanced than we realize? Did they possess knowledge of electricity and other technologies that have been lost to time? These questions continue to spark debate and speculation, challenging our understanding of ancient civilizations. Let's shift our focus to the enigmatic pharaoh Akhenaten, who ruled over Egypt from 1353 to 1336 BC. His unique appearance has given rise to various theories and speculations. Akhenaten had an elongated skull, a high forehead, and an unusual slender physique, which has led many to question his origins. Some believe that Akhenaten had extraterrestrial ancestry, suggesting that he may have been the offspring of alien beings who visited ancient Egypt. This theory is based on his distinctive physical features, which seem to deviate from the typical characteristics of ancient Egyptians. Proponents of the alien theory argue that Akhenaten's elongated skull and almond-shaped eyes are reminiscent of certain extraterrestrial depictions in ancient art. They also point to his slim build and delicate features as evidence of a different genetic lineage. However, mainstream historians attribute Akhenaten's unusual appearance to a variety of factors. His elongated skull could be the result of cranial deformation, a practice common in many ancient cultures to alter the shape of the head. His slender physique might be due to a genetic anomaly or a condition caused by inbreeding within the royal family. While the alien theory captures the imagination, there is no concrete evidence to support it. Akhenaten's appearance, though striking, can be explained by natural variations and cultural practices of the time. It's important to approach such theories with a healthy dose of skepticism and to rely on evidence-based analysis when exploring historical figures. Let's finally discuss the ancient Egyptian curse, magic, and spells. Texts like the Book of Thoth contain powerful incantations and rituals that were believed to unlock hidden knowledge and supernatural abilities. But these mystical writings were not mere tales of fantasy. They were an integral part of ancient Egyptian life. The Book of Thoth, one of the most significant examples, is said to contain spells that could grant its readers immense power and wisdom. However, it's shrouded in mystery and legend. The book is believed to have been written in hieroglyphic script and passed down through generations of Egyptian priests. It's said to have been hidden by the gods themselves to prevent its knowledge from being misused. Unfortunately, the original copy is now lost, with only fragments and copies of copies remaining. Despite its elusive nature, the Book of Thoth and other spell books played a vital role in ancient Egyptian society. They were used for various purposes, including protecting against evil spirits, ensuring fertility, and invoking the blessings of the gods. Ancient Egyptians believed that the world was full of spiritual forces, and that these spells could help them navigate and interact with the supernatural realm. These spells were not merely words written on papyrus. They were believed to possess real power, capable of influencing the course of events. And finally, let's delve into the enigma of the sunken city beneath the Nile River. This hidden metropolis holds clues to Egypt's rich history, but it's a realm that remains largely unexplored. Satellite imagery and underwater explorations have revealed the outlines of buildings and structures submerged beneath the river's surface. These discoveries suggest that a significant settlement once thrived in this area, but how did it end up under the Nile? Legend speaks of a great flood that may have overwhelmed the city, forcing its inhabitants to abandon their homes and seek higher ground. This cataclysmic event could have been triggered by a surge in the Nile's water levels, possibly caused by heavy rainfall or a seismic event. Why, as the floodwaters receded, the city found itself beneath the surface, becoming a relic of the past. Is this the lost city of Heracleion, once a bustling port and center of trade? Or are we uncovering a civilization even older, potentially dating back to the time of Atlantis? We may never know. What do you think? Do these hidden truths shed new light on ancient Egypt? Which discoveries fascinated you the most? Share your thoughts and join the conversation. Don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on our latest videos. Thanks for watching. We've all heard the story the Great Pyramid of Giza was built as a tomb for Pharaoh Khufu, but here's the problem: no mummy was ever found inside, no treasure, no inscriptions, nothing. Just empty chambers and a level of architectural precision modern engineers still can't replicate. So what were they really built for? Let's start with the math. Did you know the Great Pyramid encodes pi, the golden ratio, and the exact dimensions of Earth? That's not a coincidence. Then there's the strange electromagnetic energy detected by scientists at the pyramid's apex. Why would a tomb emit energy? Add to that the evidence of water erosion around the Sphinx, which suggests these structures are over 10,000 years old, built long before the Egyptians we know of even existed. And if that's not enough, some ancient texts claim the pyramids were already there when the pharaohs arrived. Could the pyramids be the legacy of a forgotten civilization with advanced knowledge, maybe even lost technology? Maybe they weren't built for the dead at all, but power plants, stargates, or vibrational healing centers. The alignments with Orion's belt, the magnetic granite, the absence of burial remains, it all points to one thing: we have been told only part of the story. What if the pyramids weren't built for the dead but for the living, as energy hubs or consciousness amplifiers? Let that sink in, because the past isn't just mysterious, it's powerful. Here's what you need to know about the real pyramids. We typically think of the pyramids as tombs. The idea is straightforward. A pharaoh dies, he's mummified, placed in a sarcophagus, and buried deep underground in a secret chamber accessible only to priests. In this case, it would be King Khufu, ruler of Egypt from 2600 to 2700 BCE, buried in the largest pyramid, the Great Pyramid of Giza. But here's where things get weird. Archaeologists have explored every nook and cranny of these chambers and passages, searching with modern technology, X-rays, infrared cameras, robots. They've even drilled into the bedrock underneath the pyramid. No remains have been found anywhere. No sarcophagus, no trace of a burial. The Great Pyramid is empty. It's as if the king simply vanished without a trace. How can a structure so massive and meticulously designed serve no purpose? And how can its builders achieve such precise angles, such perfectly cut stones without the aid of modern tools? The math behind the pyramids is pure genius. The base of the Great Pyramid is 756 feet, which is 226 multiplied by 3.333. This is close to the actual value of pi, 3.14159. The ratio between the base and the height of the Great Pyramid is very close to the golden ratio, 1.618. The square root of 5, 2.236. Multiplied by 3 gives us 6.78. The number of steps leading up the pyramid is 28. And 6.78 times 28 equals 190, which is close to the number of days in the solar year. These ratios and alignments are not accidental. Someone understood the divine geometry of the universe and encoded it into the pyramids. They wanted to demonstrate that the Earth itself is a living organism made of the same elements and laws as the cosmos. They saw the patterns and relationships of the universe and built the pyramids to reflect them. They believed the Earth was a vessel, a temple where human consciousness could connect with the divine. But why would a civilization that understood physics and geometry build a tomb? For a culture obsessed with precision, the idea of the afterlife didn't seem to matter. Consider this. A typical Egyptian tomb looks like an upside-down t-shirt, a small room at the top where the body is placed, and a shaft for the soul to ascend. The royal tombs are more elaborate, often with multiple shafts leading in different directions. But what about the Great Pyramid? It has no shafts, no air vents, no windows. It's a solid box with 3 small chambers and 5 passages. Even the central lobby is smaller than a single mastaba. Why put such effort into a structure that serves no purpose? Why encode pi, the golden ratio, and the dimensions of the Earth into a meaningless tomb? Here's another intriguing detail. According to satellite data, the pyramid's true shape is not a pyramid at all, but a tetrahedron. Its 4 faces form a perfect tetrahedral shape, aligning with the 4 directions of the compass. The shift in shape suggests something more, something beyond burial rituals. Think of the tetrahedral shape as a giant energy amplifier, focusing cosmic vibrations at the apex. Why would ancient builders amplify energy unless they intended to use it? And what's with the location? The Giza Plateau is rich with sacred geometry. Khafre's pyramid aligns perfectly with the galactic center, as if it's pointing to the heart of the Milky Way. Menkare's pyramid marks the cardinal directions: north, east, south, and west. And the Sphinx gazes towards the rising sun on the equinoxes, marking the cycle of death and rebirth. This wasn't random. The Egyptians believed the Earth was surrounded by a vast ocean of energy, and they wanted to tap into it. They chose the Giza Plateau because it was a nexus of cosmic energy. The magnetic field of the Earth funneled through this area, making it ideal for energy work. In fact, the Egyptians built their temples and pyramids along ley lines, invisible energy pathways that crisscross the planet. They knew that at certain locations the energy of the Earth was particularly strong, and they wanted to harness it. Let's take a closer look at the pyramids themselves. Most people assume they're tombs, but think about what we actually know. The outer casing of the Great Pyramid once glistened with white limestone, reflecting sunlight from miles away. It was meant to be seen, admired, and accessed. Look at the size of the stones near the top. They're much smaller, lightweight limestone blocks, easy to transport and lift. Yet the Egyptians somehow managed to make them perfectly smooth, polished, and flat.
Wow.
They were masters of stonework, able to cut and shape the hardest materials into flawless blocks. In fact, the entire construction of the pyramids defies explanation. How did they move the stones? How did they cut them so precisely? How did they lift them to such heights without modern tools? We don't know. To this day, it's a mystery. But what's fascinating is that no one seems interested in finding out. The official narrative says it doesn't matter. All we need to know is that the pharaoh is dead. The rest is irrelevant. But what if I told you that each pyramid contained advanced technology, devices powered by harnessed earth energy? Would you believe me? What if I showed you evidence of electromagnetics, radio waves, cosmic communication, all encoded into the pyramids? Suddenly, the pyramids become more than just tombs. They become portals, energy hubs, interdimensional gateways, become transmitters and receivers of cosmic knowledge. The evidence is all around us if we open our eyes and minds. Take the Sphinx, for example. The erosion pattern around the paws suggests it was built during a wetter period, possibly 10,000 years ago. This is long before the Egyptians we know of even existed. Yet the Sphinx appears in ancient texts dating back 4,500 years. Was it left over from a forgotten civilization? A remnant of a time before the pharaohs? Could the Sphinx have been a guardian of lost technology, watching over a sacred site for thousands of years? And what's with the alignment of the pyramids? Orion's belt has been visible from the Giza plateau for 10,000 years, but only for 100 nights a year. The three stars aligned with the three pyramids pointing towards the eternal flame of the setting sun. Was this mere coincidence? Or did the Egyptians deliberately choose this location to connect with the cosmos? What if the pyramids were not built for the dead, but for the living, as energy hubs or consciousness amplifiers? Imagine the pyramids as tuning forks, resonating with the frequencies of the universe. Their precise geometry and orientation allowed them to transmit and receive cosmic vibrations. They acted as antennas, focusing and amplifying the energy of the cosmos. The Egyptians understood that the Earth was a living organism, and they wanted to tap into its energy. They built the pyramids as energy hubs, places where the veil between the physical and spiritual realms was thinnest. They gathered at the pyramids during solstices and equinoxes, when the Earth's energy was most powerful. They performed rituals and ceremonies, activating the energy of the pyramids. They believed these rituals could heal the sick, grant fertility to the barren, and even raise the dead. The pyramids were not just tombs, they were centers of power, places where the energy of the cosmos flowed freely. They were temples of healing where the sick came to be cured and the dying came to be reborn. It's time to wake up and realize the pyramids are not just ancient relics. They are still active energy hubs, still resonating with the frequencies of the universe. All we have to do is tune in and connect with them. So next time you see a pyramid, take a moment to appreciate its power. It's not just a tomb. It's a portal to the infinite. What do you think? Leave a comment below and let me know. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out more content. Thanks for watching. See you next time. These are just a few of the most prominent gods of ancient Egypt, but there are many more, each with their own stories and roles. So here are 5 more of the most interesting Egyptian gods you should know about. Ankh, the goddess of the sky, was the personification of the heavens. She was the mother of the sun god Ra, and some believe she was the first being created by the primal god Adam. Her name literally means "she who is arched," referring to the shape of the sky above. Enki, the creator god, was the supreme leader of the Egyptian pantheon. He was the father of Ra, the sun god, and the grandfather of the pharaohs, though not widely worshipped. His legacy lived on in the royal bloodlines of Egypt. King Tutankhamun was even named after him, meaning living image of Ankh. In some myths, Adam created the world by emerging from a primordial ocean. In others, he simply existed before time began. Either way, he represents the ultimate creative force, the source from which all life and gods sprang. Hathor, the great sky goddess, had many forms, from a simple country girl to a fierce warrior. She was associated with music, dance, love, and motherhood, but also with strength and power. As a cow, she provided nourishment and protection. As seen in the famous Hathor and Cows from Edfu, she was a major deity throughout Egypt, often depicted with cow ears or a sun crown. Her cult center was at Dendora, where the goddess Hathor was worshipped long before the Old Kingdom. Thoth, the ibis-headed god, was the divine scribe, recording the deeds of men and keeping time. Was associated with wisdom, magic, and the moon, and was credited with inventing writing and the calendar. Often depicted with a scroll, he was revered as a teacher and guide, helping souls navigate the afterlife. Some believe he was immortal, while others saw him as the son of Ra. His main cult center was at Hermes, where a large temple complex was built in his honor. Sobek, the crocodile god, was a local deity from the Fiume Oasis, where he was worshipped as a powerful creator god. Depicted with a crocodile head and a royal beard, he symbolized strength and fertility. His cult spread to other parts of Egypt, including Nubia, where he was identified with the god Amen. Amen-Sobek was particularly popular during the New Kingdom, and the Temple of Karnak has many fine examples of his worship. Bastet, the cat goddess, was originally a ferocious lion goddess, but later became more gentle, associated with domestic cats in the home. She was worshipped throughout Egypt, and her cult center was at Bubastis. Her image was used on coins, and her temple was a major destination for pilgrims. Bastet represented protection, fertility, and joy, and was often shown in human form with a cat's head. This is just a small fraction of the gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt. There were hundreds of them, and they all played a part in the lives of the Egyptians. They were not just figures of worship, but personifications of the natural world, the cycles of life and death, and the forces of good and evil. To understand Egyptian mythology is to understand a culture that was deeply in tune with the rhythms of nature, the mysteries of the cosmos, and the complexities of the human condition. And so, just as the ancient Egyptians looked to the gods for guidance and understanding, we too can find wisdom and insight in their stories and teachings. Welcome to the channel. Today we're diving deep into Egyptian mythology, one of the most influential and enduring mythologies in history. The pantheon of gods and goddesses are so well known that their images are instantly recognizable, like the majestic Sphinx with its lioness body and human head, or the iconic winged goddess Isis holding the baby Horus. But the pantheon doesn't stop there. There's the lioness goddess Sekhmet, unleashed by Ra to punish humanity, whose rage was so unstoppable she nearly destroyed the world. It's only tricked by being given beer, dyed red like blood. Did she calm down a story reminding us of divine wrath and mercy? Her more peaceful counterpart is Bastet, the cat goddess of home, protection, and joy, showing how Egyptian gods often had dual aspects: war and peace, chaos and order, strength and gentleness. Hathor, the cow goddess of motherhood and music, also shares those dual traits, nurturing yet powerful. As we journey through this pantheon, we see a divine mirror of human life, love, revenge, justice, earth, power, and protection. Each god played a role in maintaining the balance of the cosmos, and temples were more than places of worship. They were homes for these gods, built to maintain harmony in both the heavens and on earth. What makes Egyptian mythology so unique is how tightly it's woven into daily life: government, death rituals, and even architecture. From massive temples aligned to the stars, to amulets buried with the dead, to spells inscribed in tombs, every layer of society was infused with divine meaning. These gods weren't distant. They were present in floods, dreams, hieroglyphs, and even the stars. So let's meet some of the key players in this celestial drama. Ra, the supreme sun god, was the creator of all. Ra. He brought light into darkness and order into chaos. His journey across the sky in his solar boat each day was a battle against the forces of darkness, a struggle we could all relate to. For the Egyptians, Ra personified the life-giving force of the sun, a father figure who nurtured and sustained his people. But as the sun dipped below the horizon, another god took center stage: Osiris, the lord of the underworld. He wasn't a fearsome god of retribution, but a benevolent ruler who welcomed souls into the afterlife. The journey through the underworld was a perilous one, filled with challenges that tested the worthiness of the deceased. But Osiris, with his unwavering fairness, judged each soul, ensuring the wicked were held accountable, while the virtuous were granted eternal rest. Then there was Isis, the embodiment of magic and motherhood, who not only nursed the infant Horus, but also resurrected her husband, Osiris, from the dead. She was a beacon of hope, a symbol of love that transcended even death itself. And let's not forget Anubis, the guardian of the scales of justice. When the dead arrived in the underworld, they were weighed against the feather of truth. If they were found wanting, they were led to the fiery abyss by the dreaded jackal-headed god. But if they passed the test, they were welcomed by Anubis into the field of reeds, a paradise of peace and joy. Each of these gods played a crucial role in the grand Egyptian narrative, a narrative that didn't just entertain, but informed every aspect of life. The Egyptians weren't just worshippers. They were active participants in the cosmic order. They built massive temples, not just to honor their gods, but to house them, to make the divine presence tangible in their midst. And when they died, they left offerings and spells not just for the journey to the afterlife, but to ensure a safe return, a return that was not just a matter of faith, but a practical necessity to maintain the balance of the world. In the bustling city of Thebes, where the mighty pharaohs once ruled, there was an intimate connection between the rulers and the divine. The pharaohs were seen as living embodiments of the gods, their lineage stretching back to the very creation of Egypt. They weren't just kings, were mediators between the gods and the people, ensuring that the cosmic order was maintained. Temples weren't just places of worship, they were power centers. The priests, not just religious leaders, were keepers of knowledge, their influence rivaling that of the pharaohs themselves. It was they who deciphered the divine will, who interpreted the omens and performed the rituals that kept the gods appeased. As we continue our exploration of Egyptian mythology, keep in mind that the Egyptians weren't just passive observers of the divine. They engaged with their gods, bargained with them, made offerings, appeased them, and rebelled against them. Theirs was a relationship not of blind faith, but of active participation. A participation that shaped not just their religious practices, but their entire way of life. If you found this journey through the Egyptian pantheon intriguing, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you do and miss upcoming videos exploring other ancient mythologies and lost civilizations. And leave a comment. Which Egyptian god fascinates you most and why? Let's uncover more ancient secrets together. You are looking live inside the Great Pyramid of Giza. What you see before you is the Hall of Records. It's a secret chamber hidden deep within the belly of the ancient monument. Inside, 40 feet up, you find a wall inscribed with hieroglyphics. But these aren't just markings, they are the key to a forgotten truth, written by Imhotep himself. Here it tells the real story of the building of the pyramids, the forbidden knowledge that the pharaohs wanted to keep secret. That is until now. What do? You trust the ancient text? What will you find in there? It could be the key to unlocking some of the deepest mysteries of the pyramids. If you want to know more, follow the instructions provided below. Remember, history doesn't just happen, it happens to you. You are a part of it. Choose wisely. The air grows heavy as you step through the threshold into the unknown. The flickering torchlight dances over weathered hieroglyphics, revealing tales both wondrous and strange. You read of a time when the pharaohs walked among gods, shaping the very destiny of the universe. But there's more. Hidden between these eternal walls lies a prophecy, an enigma that is echoed through millennia. It's the legend of Akhenaten, the Sun King. They say he didn't die, that his spirit soared to the heavens to join the sun. Some whisper he'll return, bringing with him untold wisdom. What does it mean for you? Will you witness his return or become a part of his legacy? But let me tell you, the journey ahead won't be easy. There are forces that would keep this knowledge from you, powers that seek to bury the truth of Akhenaten forever. You must use all your skills to overcome them. Are you ready? Are you brave enough to unravel the secrets of the ancients? Trust the legends and unearth the truth of the Sun King. Or turn away and let the prophecy fade into the shadows. The choice is yours. Step forward into the eternal embrace of the pyramid. Feel the weight of ages pressing upon you as you delve deeper into the heart of the mystery. Your path is fraught with challenges, but the allure of the unknown draws you ever onward. Will you answer the call of the ancients? Uncover the truth of Akhenaten and fulfill the prophecy? Or turn back and leave the secrets of the pyramid undisturbed? Only you can unlock the fate of the Sun King. Welcome back, everyone. Here today we are going to talk about the enigmatic pharaoh Akhenaten and his possible extraterrestrial connections. Akhenaten's reign marked a radical departure from tradition, not just in terms of religion, but also in art, architecture, and diplomacy. His decision to abandon Thebes, the cultural and religious heart of Egypt, for a new capital in Tel El Marna, signals a drastic change in the status quo. This wasn't simply a relocation of power, it was a rejection of the old ways, a cleaving away from the past to establish something wholly new. Such a monumental shift often mirrors experiences of individuals who encounter something transformative, something that compels them to break away from the familiar and forge a different path. Think of it as your classic "I quit my job and traveled the world" moment, except instead of a personal journey, we're talking about an entire kingdom. So what could have caused such a dramatic upheaval? In Akhenaten's case, it was his supposed vision of Aten, the sun disk. This wasn't the traditional Egyptian sun god. Sure, Aten was associated with the sun, but unlike the Egyptian deities, it had no physical form. It was just a radiant disk in the sky. This intangible concept demanded a new kind of worship, a worship that could not coexist with the existing religious framework. The old gods had to go. Akhenaten wasn't content with simply adding Aten to the pantheon. He wanted it to be the one and only deity. This transition is akin to having a favorite band. Initially, you enjoy their music alongside many others, but then their sound evolves, becomes your everything. You start seeing them in a different light. Their music takes on a deeper meaning, and eventually you realize you're re-listening to something that resonates on a whole different level. It's like nothing else. And in that realization, you drop everything else and dive headfirst into their music. Suddenly, everything else seems dull by comparison. That's the kind of devotion Akhenaten had for Aten. But his wasn't a typical case of religious fervor. His transformation was sudden and absolute. The abandonment of Thebes, the violent restructuring of the priesthood, the construction of a new capital, all happened with astonishing speed. It was as if Akhenaten was on a tight deadline, compelled by an urgency that transcended normal human understanding, as if the gods themselves were pushing him along. He acted with an intensity that suggested a dire need to make things right, to rectify some cosmic imbalance. This sense of urgency echoes the experience of someone who's received a message from a higher plane of existence. Think of prophets, those individuals who suddenly find themselves compelled to spread a message they didn't choose, but feel compelled to deliver anyway. They don't decide to become prophets. It happens to them. And in that moment, they're driven by an overwhelming need to share what they've seen, heard, or felt. It's a calling they cannot ignore. Something similar might have happened to Akhenaten. It wasn't just a change of heart or a sudden insight. It was a shift triggered by something outside the realm of conventional experience, something that jolted him into action and set him on a mission to reshape not just Egypt, but the very definition of godliness. Now imagine being thrust into the spotlight. One day you're an average Joe, and the next people are staring at you, trying to figure you out. People are staring at you, trying to figure you out. People suddenly start asking you questions about the visions you just described, about the new god you're championing. The pressure mounts. Everyone wants to know what you're about, what's driving this mad dash towards a new reality. Suddenly, your life isn't your own anymore. Every move you make, every word you utter is under scrutiny. Even worse, there are those who don't just ask questions. They try to control you, to bend you to their will. It's a terrifying prospect, a loss of identity, of self, of autonomy. And yet this is what Akhenaten might have experienced. His transformation was so radical, so disruptive, that it shook the very foundations of Egyptian society. It wasn't just a shift in his personal beliefs, it was a public spectacle. A collision between the old world and the new that he championed. Imagine the societal fallout, the religious upheaval, the power struggles. Amidst this maelstrom, Akhenaten's sanity and motivations come under attack. It was a calculated move to discredit him, to paint him as mentally unstable, a heretic, an outsider. Accusations fly, doubts are cast, and soon his very essence is questioned. Was he always this way? Did something snap? Did something change him fundamentally? History remembers him as eccentric, his features oddly alien-like, his beliefs bizarrely singular. But behind the veil of these labels lurks a man fighting to maintain his grip on reality amidst a storm he never asked for. But there is another layer to this puzzle. Many historians agree that Akhenaten's wife, Nefertiti, played a pivotal role in his reign. She was not just a queen, she was a partner in the grand scheme of things. Yet her story is shrouded in mystery, cut short when she abruptly disappears from the historical record after a decade in the spotlight. Her vanishing act only deepens the intrigue surrounding Akhenaten, painting a picture of a power couple united in their vision. But what was the true extent of Nefertiti's influence? How did she shape Akhenaten's journey in Egypt's destiny? What if her role was not merely that of a supportive partner, but of a guiding force, a catalyst for the radical changes that defined their era? As you descend deeper into the heart of the pyramid, The air grows thick with anticipation. The final chamber comes into view, guarded by ancient seals. What secrets await behind them? Can you decipher the cryptic messages left by Akhenaten and Nefertiti? What will you discover? About their legacy? Are you prepared to uncover the hidden truths of their reign? Before we go, hit that subscribe button to stay connected to the timeless mysteries of history. Each click brings you closer to the untold stories that have shaped our world. With every click, you activate the magic. Stay tuned for more fascinating tales. They say history is written by the victors, but sometimes it's erased by the fearful. What if one of the most powerful civilizations on Earth tried to wipe a king from existence, not because of war or betrayal, but because he was too strange, too different, and maybe even too dangerous to remember? This is the story of Akhenaten, a pharaoh who broke all the rules. He looked nothing like a man, ruled like no other king, worshipped a god no one else did, and lived in a city that vanished after his death. From his alien-like appearance to his bizarre beliefs, everything about Akhenaten challenges what we think we know about ancient Egypt. And the weirdest part, the deeper you dig, the less human he seems. Before we begin, let me clarify one thing. We don't actually know what Akhenaten looked like. Everything we see of him comes down to sculpture, stone relief, and pottery created by craftsmen under his direct supervision. His image was propaganda. He wanted to be seen a certain way, and he made sure everyone knew exactly how he wanted to look. So when we talk about Akhenaten's strange appearance, remember it's deliberate, symbolic. The question is, what did it symbolize? Akhenaten came to power around 1353 BC, during what historians call the New Kingdom. Ancient Egypt had already reached its zenith. Its borders stretched from northern Syria to the southern Sudan. Its wealth was unparalleled. Its culture flourished. Its kings were considered divine. For hundreds of years, the pharaohs were not rulers. They were gods on earth, embodying the divine order. That is, until Akhenaten. His statues and carvings were nothing like the heroic, muscle-bound images of other pharaohs. Instead, he was shown with a long, narrow face, sunken cheeks, drooping lips, spindly limbs, a rounded belly, wide hips, and even a soft, almost feminine chest. It was as if the sculptors were depicting a person outside the boundaries of gender, neither fully male nor female. This sparked endless debate. Some scholars argue it was symbolism. Akhenaten wanted to embody both masculine and feminine energies, reflecting the idea of a universal creator. Others believe it wasn't symbolism at all. He actually looked that way. His famously elongated skull has led to medical theories like Marfan syndrome or Klinefelter syndrome. But those don't explain everything. In fact, some people believe Akhenaten wasn't human at all in the traditional sense. His appearance has fueled theories that he may have been a hybrid, part human, part something else. But Akhenaten wasn't just an alien-looking ruler. He was an alien king. When he took the throne, Egypt was a polytheistic society. Its people believed in a pantheon of gods, each with their own domain and personality. Ra, the sun god, was obviously important. But other gods like Osiris, Anubis, and Thoth also had massive followings. Akhenaten changed all that. He declared that Aten, a minor sun god, was the only god worth following. And while the rest of Egypt worshipped a pantheon of gods, Akhenaten had a personal relationship with Aten. Every morning, so the story goes, he would rise before dawn, stand on a balcony, and greet the sunrise as if meeting an old friend. He said Aten chose him to be its servant and gave him a simple message for humanity: love and light. Obviously, this is a vast oversimplification of what Akhenaten preached. But it captures his main idea. There was one true God, and all other religions were wrong. To spread this message, he constructed a new temple complex dedicated to Aten, which became the center of his religious reforms. But he didn't stop there. Closed temples to other gods, silenced priests, and outlawed the worship of Egypt's other gods. He even erased their names from monuments and tombs. Akhenaten was uncontent to shift religion. He wanted to burn the old world down and build a new one from scratch. To complete this transformation, he abandoned the religious capital of Thebes and built an entirely new city in the middle of the desert. He called it Akatant. Today we know it as Amarna. Now, again, this is a huge simplification of a monumental project. The city wasn't built in a day. It had multiple phases of construction. And its purpose wasn't just religious, but political, economic, and social as well. But Amarna was clearly special. It was not like any other city in Egypt or anywhere else. Its layout, artwork, and inscriptions were unlike anything else from that era. There were no images of gods or goddesses, just Akhenaten, his queen Nefertiti, and the glowing sun disk above them. The artwork wasn't just revolutionary in style, but purpose. Each carving, relief, and painting glorified Aten and the pharaoh. It was propaganda on a monumental scale. Remember, Akhenaten controlled every image of himself, showing him as weak and effeminate. And now, he was showing himself as a god among men, the one chosen by Aten to spread its word. And not just a king, but a god of peace. Forget war, forget conquest. Under Akhenaten, Egypt did not expand. It contracted. He stopped building new temples, stopped raising armies, and spent his resources on art, architecture, and administration. In short, he turned Egypt into a theocracy, ruled directly by a god or someone who claimed to be a god. So why would anyone want to erase such a figure from history? Let's zoom out a little. Akhenaten ruled for 17 years. After that, he died or disappeared, though we don't know for sure. His tomb, if it was ever completed, is a mystery. His body was never definitively found, and his legacy, that was destroyed. The priests of Amen returned to power and began a systematic erasure of Akhenaten's name and memory. His temples were torn down, his images defaced. Even his son, the famous Tutankhamun, rejected his father's religion and returned Egypt to its old ways. It's as if the country agreed that Akhenaten had to be forgotten. But why? If he was merely misguided, why such intense fear? Why the need to bury him not just in body but in memory? Well, the answer, as with so many historical mysteries, is lost to time, but we can make some educated guesses. First of all, let's consider the scope of Akhenaten's changes. He didn't just tinker with religion or policy. He fundamentally changed how Egypt worked, looked, and thought. He took a polytheistic empire and forced it into monotheism. He moved his capital and reorganized his government. He patronized a new style of art and encouraged a new way of thinking. Now, you can argue that these changes were gradual, that he didn't impose his religion on others, or that he left behind a cultural legacy. But let's be realistic. No pharaoh had ever done anything like this before. The closest comparison is probably Moses, who led the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt and into the Promised Land, where he established a theocracy based on Yahweh alone. Coincidentally, Akhenaten's god, Aten, is often compared to Yahweh, and there's evidence that Moses may have studied Egyptian religion. Could Akhenaten have been Egypt's Moses, leading his people into monotheism? And if so, why was he erased? The obvious answer is that Akhenaten went too far. He alienated the priests and nobility who lost power and influence. He neglected the military and put Egypt in danger. He abandoned its cultural traditions and alienated foreign allies. But what if that's only part of the story? What if the real reason Akhenaten was erased wasn't fear of his politics, but his appearance? Look at it this way. Whether Akhenaten was born with an elongated skull or grew it artificially, it challenged the basic tenets of Egyptian civilization. Remember, Egyptians believed their pharaohs were divine, so they were gods on earth, linked to the divine order of the universe. If Akhenaten was not fully human, that divine order was broken. Egyptians understood kingship as a sacred duty passed down through bloodlines. If Akhenaten was not truly Egyptian, then his claim to the throne was illegitimate. In short, if he was not one of them, he could not be their leader. This is why so much of Akhenaten's artwork shows him with both himself and Nefertiti as king and queen. His legitimacy came not from bloodlines, but from Aten alone. Some may dismiss this idea as nonsense, but remember, this was a time when people believed the world was flat. The sun and stars were gods, and a king's wife could be his sister. The Egyptians were open to the supernatural. And if Akhenaten presented himself as a god among men, then his appearance as a man among gods would not be unthinkable. In fact, it fits neatly with their religious beliefs. If that's true, then the final question becomes, why did he present himself that way? What purpose did his strange appearance serve? We simply don't know. But it's worth speculating that Akhenaten's appearance wasn't just symbolic, but literal. Maybe he was part human, part something else, and his mission was not just to reform religion, but humanity. Maybe he was not a prophet, but a messenger, sent to deliver a message he didn't understand. Or maybe the message was not divine revelation, but scientific knowledge. Some have even suggested that Akhenaten was an alien visitor, and his appearance and beliefs were simply a product of advanced understanding. The truth is, we will never know. Akhenaten is a mystery by design. He wanted to be remembered not as a man, but as a god, and his followers succeeded. Even in death, he became a legend. So the real question is, what does that tell us about the past? What do forgotten pharaohs and erased cities reveal about our understanding of history? And how can we ensure that our own stories do not end up buried? Because in this old world, the truth is timeless. But our perception of it is always changing. And maybe that's why we keep returning to these forgotten tales. It's not just about the past, it's about us. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share. Subscribe to Old World for more stories that question what we've been told. Check out our other videos for more stories that challenge conventional history. And join us on a platform for exclusive content and early access to new episodes. Thanks for watching. See you next time. The ancient Egyptians did not fear death the way we do. To them, death was not the end. It was merely a transition, a passage into a world more eternal, more real, and infinitely more dangerous than life itself. The Book of the Dead, a mysterious text used by ancient Egyptians during the afterlife. This sacred manual for the soul's journey is full of spells, rituals, and instructions from the gods. It provides guidance on how to pass through the dangers of the underworld and reach the field of reeds. Their version of paradise will look at the purpose of the Book of the Dead, the different spells within it, and how it changed over time. Join me on this journey through one of history's most fascinating topics. Let's get started. The Book of the Dead. Before we dive into the spells of the Book of the Dead, let's take a step back and look at the context surrounding this enigmatic text. The ancient Egyptians believed that when a person died, their soul began a perilous journey through the underworld. The goal of this journey was to reach the field of reeds, a place of peace and happiness where the soul could be reunited with the body. However, the path to the field of reeds was fraught with danger, and the dead had to face many challenges along the way. The Book of the Dead was created to help the dead navigate this journey. It's important to note that the ancient Egyptians didn't view death as the end, but rather as a transition into another realm of existence. They believed that the soul would continue on, and that it needed guidance to do so correctly. To better understand the significance of the Book of the Dead, let's consider the Egyptian beliefs about the afterlife. The Egyptians believed that when a person died, their soul would leave the body and travel through the underworld. The underworld was not a pleasant place, and the soul had to face many obstacles along the way. These obstacles were designed to test the soul's worthiness to enter the field of reeds. If the soul passed these tests, it would be rewarded with eternal peace and happiness in the field of reeds. However, if the soul failed these tests, it would be banished from the underworld and condemned to wander the earth as a ghost. This belief system was a significant part of Egyptian culture, and the Book of the Dead was created to help the dead navigate this journey. The book was filled with spells, rituals, and instructions from the gods that were meant to help the dead overcome the obstacles they would face in the underworld. Now that we've covered the background of the Book of the Dead, let's delve into the spells within it. The spells in the Book of the Dead were not only written in beautiful hieroglyphics, but they were also incredibly powerful. Each spell was carefully chosen to help the dead on their journey through the underworld. One of the most famous spells in the Book of the Dead is the weighing of the heart ceremony. This ceremony took place after the soul had passed through the various stages of the underworld and arrived at the Hall of Truth. In this hall, the soul was weighed on a scale to determine its worthiness to enter the field of reeds. The heart of the deceased was placed on one side of the scale, and the feather of the goddess Mat, who represented truth and justice, was placed on the other side. If the heart was found to be lighter than the feather, it meant that the person had lived a good life, and their soul would be allowed to pass on to the field of reeds. However, if the heart was found to be heavier than the feather, it meant that the person had not lived a good life, and their soul would be condemned to wander the underworld forever. This ceremony was a crucial part of the Egyptian belief system, and the Book of the Dead contained all the necessary instructions for it to be carried out correctly. Another famous spell from the Book of the Dead is the negative confession. This spell was spoken by the dead as they approached the Hall of Truth, and it was a way for them to confess their sins and ask for forgiveness. In this spell, the dead would list all the evil things they had not done during their lifetime, and would ask the gods to forgive them if they had committed any sins that they were not aware of. This was an important part of the Egyptian burial ceremony, and the Book of the Dead provided the framework for the negative confession. In addition to these famous spells, the Book of the Dead contained many others that were equally important. For example, there were spells that helped the dead navigate the various obstacles they would face in the underworld, such as rivers of fire and poisonous snakes. There were also spells that helped the dead protect themselves from evil spirits and demons that might try to harm them on their journey. Each spell was carefully crafted to address a specific need, and together, they formed a powerful toolkit for the dead to use on their journey through the underworld. As we continue our journey through the Book of the Dead, it's important to note that it wasn't just a collection of spells and rituals. It was also a source of comfort and hope for the Egyptians. The Egyptians believed that the afterlife was a place of peace and happiness, and the Book of the Dead provided guidance on how to get there. It gave them a sense of control over their destiny and allowed them to face death with courage. The spells and rituals in the Book of the Dead were not only meant to help the dead navigate the underworld, but also to bring them closer to the gods. By reciting these spells, the Egyptians believed that they were connecting with the divine and receiving their blessings. This connection with the divine was an important part of Egyptian culture, and the Book of the Dead played a vital role in maintaining that connection even after death. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Book of the Dead is that it evolved over time. As Egyptian culture changed, so did the Book of the Dead. In the earliest versions of the book, the spells were mostly concerned with helping the dead navigate the underworld and avoid being punished. However, as time went on, the spells became more complex and began to include elements of Egyptian mythology and religion. For example, later versions of the Book of the Dead included spells that invoked the help of specific gods and goddesses to protect the dead on their journey. This evolution reflects the changing religious beliefs of the Egyptians and shows how the Book of the Dead adapted to meet the needs of a growing and changing culture. The Book of the Dead is a fascinating and complex topic that has captured the imaginations of people for centuries. From the weighing of the heart ceremony to the negative confession, each spell and ritual offers a glimpse into the rich tapestry of Egyptian culture and belief systems. As we continue to explore the mysteries of the afterlife, the lessons from the Book of the Dead remain relevant, reminding us of the importance of living a life of truth, justice, and courage. Whether you're a scholar seeking to understand ancient civilizations or simply someone fascinated by the mysteries of the afterlife, the Book of the Dead has something to offer. So keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep searching for answers in the pages of this ancient text. If you enjoyed this exploration of the Book of the Dead, I invite you to hit the like button and share it with others who might be interested in this topic. You can also subscribe to the channel to stay updated on future videos. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the Book of the Dead. Until next time, may your own journey through life be filled with wisdom, courage, and a thirst for knowledge. Remember, the ancient Egyptians viewed death not as an ending, but as a transition to another realm of existence. They believed that the soul would continue on and that it needed guidance to do so correctly. This belief system led to the creation of the Book of the Dead, a sacred manual for the soul's journey. The spells in the book were designed to help the dead navigate the dangers of the underworld and reach the field of reeds. These spells, including the weighing of the heart and the negative confession, were not only powerful but also comforting to the Egyptians. They provided a sense of control over their destiny and allowed them to connect with the divine even after death. As you reflect on your own beliefs about the afterlife, consider the lessons from the Book of the Dead and the ancient Egyptian perspective on death. Perhaps there are some insights that can guide you on your own journey through life and death. Thank you for watching. Imagine staring into the eyes of the Egyptian gods. For centuries, their gazes have watched over us from tombs and temples, silent witnesses to the rise and fall of civilizations. But what if their eyes could reveal more than just stories of long ago? Welcome to the secrets of the eye that shocked archaeologists. We've heard tales of ancient curses and prophecies, but none may be as intriguing as the legend of the Eye of Ra. Hidden within the Great Pyramid, Some say it holds the key to predicting our future. The stakes are high. According to legend, whoever beholds the Eye of Ra is granted the gift of foresight, the ability to peer into the very fabric of destiny. But beware, for the eye's power comes with a price. Those who seek it must navigate treacherous chambers and face trials designed to test their worthiness. Will you dare step into the shadow of the gods and risk the consequences of unlocking such forbidden knowledge? Let's dive into the legacy of the Eye of Ra, where history meets mystery and the future beckons in the shadows of the past. In 1872, British engineer Wayne Dixon uncovered a secret passage leading to a mysterious chamber within the heart of the Great Pyramid. But upon entering, he stumbled upon a sight that shook him to his core. A gigantic granite sarcophagus adorned with hieroglyphics depicting the Eye of Ra. The Eye of Ra is often symbolized as a stylized eye design featuring 2 teardrops extending outwards, and this discovery pointed to an even greater revelation. Legend speaks of a hidden chamber behind the Great Sphinx where an ancient prophecy awaits, a prophecy tied to the Eye of Ra. Our journey takes us back to 1925, when a British Egyptologist named Edward R. Ayrton conducted a series of experiments within the Great Pyramid. Using specialized equipment, he measured minute variations in temperature and pressure, believing they held the key to unlocking the pyramid's secrets. A year later, a team of explorers ventured into the belly of the earth, descending into the depths of the Great Sphinx. There they discovered a subterranean labyrinth, hinting at a connection between the Sphinx and the pyramids. The existence of these tunnels seems to lend credence to the idea that they were once linked, possibly serving as pathways for rituals or symbolic journeys. Some believe the Eye of Ra might lie at the center of this underground network. But let's rewind to 1881, when Flinders Petrie embarked on a mission to uncover the truth. He located a small chamber adjacent to the Queen's chamber. Within it, he found traces of red paint and a curious indentation resembling an eye socket. Could this be the physical manifestation of the Eye of Ra, a tangible link to the enigmatic Third Pyramid? Adding to the enigma, a nearby inscription reads, "Where Ra gives light." The convergence of astronomical alignments, secret chambers, and cryptic inscriptions suggests a deliberate effort to conceal the Eye of Ra's location from prying eyes. The hunt for the Eye of Ra reached new heights in 1968, when renowned Egyptologist Dr. Mark Laynard joined the quest. Using advanced technology, he explored previously inaccessible areas, discovering a horizontal shaft concealed behind masonry. At its end, he found a square hole, perfectly round, which he believed could be the final resting place of the Eye of Ra. However, attempts to lower instruments through the opening proved unsuccessful due to its precarious condition. In 1972, the race to find the eye reached a fever pitch when British architect and researcher John R. Cooper initiated excavations near the top of the Great Pyramid. Armed with theories based on the shape and acoustics of the structure, he and his team unearthed a massive void directly beneath the center of the pyramid's peak. Some believe this void could lead to a subterranean chamber where the Eye of Ra is ensconced. And while the eye remains elusive, Cooper's discovery of this vast cavity suggests there may be much more to the pyramid-esque design than meets the eye. These tales of adventure and discovery have captured the public's imagination, leaving us on the brink of a major breakthrough. The question is, are we ready to uncover the truth behind the Eye of Ra? Let's delve into the real-life hunt for this legendary relic. Unveiling the secrets of the Eye of Ra isn't just a quest for lost artifacts. It's a testament to the enduring allure of ancient mysteries. Each new discovery, no matter how elusive, brings us closer to understanding the beliefs and practices of a civilization that shaped our world. As we continue to explore the depths of ancient Egypt, we find ourselves at the precipice of a remarkable revelation. The Eye of Ra, once a mere myth, is now within our grasp. Join us on this extraordinary journey as we unveil the astonishing truth behind this mystical artifact and the legacy it holds. The Eye of Ra, a symbol of protection and healing, played a pivotal role in the lives of the ancient Egyptians. Its presence was deeply ingrained in their culture, adorning everything from temple walls to everyday objects. But have you ever wondered what sets the Eye of Ra apart from other symbols of power and divinity? The answer lies in its profound connection to the sun god Ra, whose life-giving rays were revered as the source of all existence. The Eye of Ra represented Ra's benevolent gaze, offering its bearers the promise of guidance and strength. It was a talisman against evil forces, a beacon of hope in times of darkness. But the significance of the Eye of Ra extends far beyond mere symbolism. Some say it holds the key to harnessing solar energy, a power that can heal the sick and rejuvenate the weary. It was believed that the Eye of Ra possessed miraculous healing properties, capable of restoring sight to the blind and banishing disease from the afflicted. Its touch was said to bring life back into barren lands, transforming deserts into fertile fields. The power of the Eye of Ra knew no bounds. However, the Eye of Ra wasn't just a symbol of power and healing. It also represented wisdom and enlightenment. To behold the Eye of Ra was said to be a transformative experience, a glimpse into the divine order of the universe. It bestowed those who gazed upon it with profound knowledge and understanding, unraveling the mysteries of life and death. The Eye of Ra illuminated the path to immortality, guiding souls through the treacherous underworld and into the blissful realm of the afterlife. Now, let's turn our attention to the captivating tale of Catherine, a woman whose life was forever changed by the Eye of Ra. Catherine had always felt a deep connection to ancient Egypt. Drawn to its timeless mysteries and rich cultural heritage, little did she know that fate had a remarkable surprise in store for her. During a trip to the British Museum, she stumbled upon a hidden exhibit, a collection of artifacts from the era of Akhenaten and Nefertiti. Among them was a small wooden box, adorned with the symbol of the Eye of Ra. Intrigued, Catherine reached out to touch it. In that instant, she felt a surge of energy course through her body, awakening a dormant power within her own eyes. Suddenly, Catherine began to see the world in a different light. She could perceive the energy flowing through all living things, connecting them in an intricate web of life. With newfound clarity, she realized that the Eye of Ra had chosen her, bestowing upon her the gift of seeing beyond the physical realm. Guided by the wisdom of the ancients, Catherine embarked on a journey of self-discovery, learning to harness the powers of the Eye of Ra. She became known as the woman who sees, using her abilities to heal the sick, protect the innocent, and unlock the secrets of the universe. Catherine's story is a testament to the enduring legacy of the Eye of Ra, a symbol that continues to captivate and inspire wonder in those who encounter it. Whether in dreams, visions, or moments of spiritual awakening, the Eye of Ra reminds us that the pursuit of knowledge and connection with the divine can lead us to extraordinary discoveries. Embracing the mysteries of life with an open heart and mind can unlock hidden potential and illuminate our path towards enlightenment. Let's turn our attention to a tale that blurs the line between myth and reality. The legend of the hidden chamber and the Eye of Ra. Deep within the enigmatic chambers of the Great Pyramid, shrouded in secrecy and steeped in mystery, there exists a chamber concealed from the prying eyes of the world. It is a place where ancient secrets lie dormant, waiting to be unearthed. According to legend, this hidden chamber holds the key to understanding the true essence of the Eye of Ra, a relic of immense power and significance. It is said that the entrance to this chamber is cleverly disguised, seamlessly blending with the surrounding walls, its presence known only to a few. Initiates brave enough to venture forth embark on a perilous journey fraught with danger and deception. The air grows thick with anticipation as they navigate treacherous passages, deciphering cryptic clues and overcoming seemingly insurmountable obstacles. Along their path, they encounter cryptic hieroglyphics that whisper tales of long ago, offering glimpses into the rituals and beliefs of a bygone era. Finally, they stand before the threshold of the hidden chamber, their hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement. With bated breath, they push open the doors and step into a realm untouched by modern eyes for centuries. Before them lies a sanctuary bathed in an ethereal glow, the very air humming with ancient energy. In the center, resting on a pedestal, is the Eye of Ra, radiating an otherworldly luminescence. Its depths seem to hold the secrets of the cosmos, promising untold wisdom and enlightenment to those who dare to gaze upon it. As they approach the Eye of Ra, its power envelops them, revealing hidden truths and igniting their souls with newfound understanding. The seekers realize that they are in the presence of something truly sacred, a conduit to the divine, a portal to realms beyond their wildest imaginings. But alas, time has taken its toll on this hidden chamber. Centuries of neglect have caused it to crumble, its once vibrant colors faded, its grandeur obscured by the dust of ages. Yet even in its state of disarray, the chamber exudes an aura of mystery and intrigue, beckoning explorers to uncover its secrets. For within these crumbling walls lie not just the relics of the past, but also the potential to rewrite history, to shatter long-held beliefs, and to glimpse the hidden patterns that connect us all. The discovery of this hidden chamber in the Eye of Ra would send shockwaves throughout the world, challenging conventional wisdom and redefining our understanding of ancient Egypt. It would ignite a firestorm of debate among scholars and enthusiasts alike, each seeking to unravel the deeper meaning and implications of such a profound find. As we reach the end of this captivating journey, we invite you to join the conversation. Have you ever experienced the enigmatic allure of the Eye of Ra? Share your thoughts, dreams, and visions in the comments below. Your stories may hold valuable insights, or even shed light on the location of the hidden chamber. If you're captivated by the mysteries of ancient Egypt and yearn to uncover more secrets, we encourage you to subscribe. Together, we can explore the depths of history and marvel at the wonders that await us. Don't forget to tap the bell icon to receive notifications of our latest adventures. As the twilight hours embrace us, we bid you farewell until next time. May your journey through life be filled with curiosity, wonder, and the relentless pursuit of knowledge. Till then, keep your eyes open for the signs of the Eye of Ra, for it may be closer than you think. The otherworldly statues guarding the Giza plateau have been silently watching over us for nearly 5,000 years, and they're not alone. Over 3 million hieroglyphs riddle the walls of Egyptian tombs, each stroke a secret whispered across millennia. And then there are the pyramids themselves, eternal enigmas pointing towards the heavens, defying even modern engineering marvels. One of the world's greatest civilizations rose from the sands of the Nile over 5,000 years ago, crafting wonders that still defy explanation today. Ancient Egypt wasn't just about pyramids and pharaohs. It was a civilization of secrets, sacred rituals, and a deep obsession with the afterlife. Today we embark on an extraordinary journey back in time, unearthing the hidden truths, myths and mysteries that continue to captivate us about ancient Egypt. Join us as we unravel the enigma of these colossal sentinels. We delve into the depths of their cryptic tombs and decipher the secrets embedded in the very fabric of this lost world. Are you ready to uncover the enigma of ancient Egypt? And let's dive in. The majestic River Nile, the cradle of ancient Egyptian civilization, held within its fertile banks the key to the kingdom's prosperity. Every year, the Nile would overflow, leaving behind nutrient-rich silt that transformed the land into a bountiful landscape. The annual flooding of the Nile was not just a source of fertility, but also a life-giving force that sustained the kingdom and influenced the very core of Egyptian beliefs. For the Egyptians, the Nile was personified as a deity, and its predictable inundations were seen as divine gifts. They believed that the Nile's bounty was a direct result of the pharaoh's closeness to the gods. When the river flowed generously, it was a sign of the pharaoh's divine favor and the kingdom's prosperity. Conversely, if the floods were insufficient or excessive, it was seen as a divine reprimand, a message from the gods that something was amiss. This intimate connection between the Nile and the pharaoh led to a complex system of rituals and ceremonies. Each year, the pharaohs celebrated the rising of the Nile with festivities and offerings to the gods, ensuring the continuation of the river's life-giving flow. They built massive dams and irrigation systems to control the water, channeling it to sustain crops and sustain the kingdom's growth. In essence, the ancient Egyptians lived in harmony with the rhythms of the Nile, recognizing both its life-giving powers and its capricious nature. The river was not just a geographical feature, but a living, breathing entity that shaped their beliefs, their society, and their destiny. Now let's rewind the clock to around 3100 BC in the northeastern corner of Africa, a land where the River Nile met the Mediterranean, a place we now call Egypt. At this time, Egypt wasn't a united kingdom. Instead, it was divided into several small regions along the Nile. Then came Narmer, a ruler from the south who set out on a journey to unite these fragmented lands. He marched north with his army, battling rival chieftains and forging alliances until he reached the northernmost point of the known world at that time. With the union complete, he was hailed as the first pharaoh, signifying the birth of a new era in Egyptian history. This moment marked the beginning of the early dynastic period, a time when the foundations of Egyptian civilization were laid. The newly unified kingdom looked to its pharaohs as divine rulers, setting the stage for centuries of pharaonic rule. As the dynasties passed down the crown, each pharaoh was considered a successor to Narmer, forming a lineage of god-kings that would shape the course of Egyptian history. In the Old Kingdom, which lasted from roughly 2686 to 2181 BC, Egypt reached new heights of prosperity. During this period, the Giza Plateau came alive with monumental construction projects. Among them, the Great Pyramid of Giza, testament to human ingenuity and the unfathomable resources commanded by the pharaohs. This awe-inspiring structure, originally named the Monument of Khufu, served as the eternal resting place for Pharaoh Khufu. The pyramid's sheer size, standing as the tallest man-made structure for over 3,800 years, was a reflection of the pharaoh's divine status. But it was much more than a tomb. It was built with precision and care. The pyramid's internal chambers and passageways hinted at a cosmic connection, aligning with celestial bodies in a celestial ballet of astronomical significance. For the Egyptians, death was not an ending, but a transition. And the pyramids, with their intricate designs, were cosmic stairways for the soul's journey. Khufu's pyramid, buried under the sands of time, continues to whisper tales of a civilization that dared to dream big and build even bigger. However, the Old Kingdom was not destined to last. Political instability and economic challenges led to the collapse of central authority, plunging Egypt into a period known as the First Intermediate Period. As the Old Kingdom waned, Egypt found itself on the brink of transformation during the Middle Kingdom. Spanning from 2055 to 1650 BC, the nation was reunited under Mentuhotep II, initiating a golden age of art, literature, and centralized power. During this period, Egypt's cultural influence flourished. Literature thrived with works like the Cairo Story, tales of everyday life that offered a glimpse into the hearts and minds of ancient Egyptians. The arts flourished with exquisite paintings and sculptures adorning tombs and temples, capturing the essence of a civilization at its zenith. However, the seeds of change were already being sown. Internal conflicts and external pressures gradually eroded the kingdom's stability, leading to the Second Intermediate Period. Yet amidst these turbulent times, Ged witnessed the emergence of formidable rulers like Kamose and Amos I, who successfully drove out the Hyksos, foreign rulers who had infiltrated Thebes. This victory marked a pivotal moment, clearing the path for Egypt to enter its most powerful era, the New Kingdom. From 1543 to 1292 BC, the New Kingdom was a golden age for Egypt, known for its military